Diane, if that's you watching, you can request to join me live. Let's see. Bring them on camera. Add. This should work. Hi.
There we are.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So ladies, sorry for the lag here. We had
Yes.
about 11 minutes of technology issues.
Yes.
We were trying to go live on a different application and it was just giving us the spinny wheel of death. So it was like after about 5 tries, we gave up.
Yep. Didn't want to work.
Didn't want to work. No. So what's up, beautiful ladies? Welcome to Titty Tuesdays. It's our very first one where this is your guys' opportunity to ask us anything, whether it's about explant, preparing for explant, the process and journey of detoxifying and self-love and self-health, as we say, post-explant, so we can help you guys recuperate back to who you were before and even better. So we can help you clear all of the obstacles that are standing in your way of living your breast life. And we're calling this our TITS method within the umbrella of how we help women under the umbrella of Cleanse, Heal, Ignite. So it's an approach that we created and are having a lot of success with women just like you in this program. So we want to clear up a lot of things today for you and help you with any of the questions that you have that you've submitted. So when you guys are tuning in, say hi, say what's up. We'd love to hear who you are, where you're coming from, where you are on your implant, explant journey. And if there's any questions that you wanted to ask us live, if we have time to go over them, we will. So we've got I'd say about a half hour, probably go until about 4 o'clock Pacific time. You think, Sarah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Sarah, just give them a little bit of who you are, because we've got some new people in the group. So just maybe give them like a real quick 1-minute rundown of who you are, what you do, and then I'll go over mine and we'll get started.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Philippi, and I started this group about 1.5 years ago, and I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. First and foremost, I was a nurse for, I don't know, like 12 years. I still am a nurse, but I no longer practice in the same setting that I did before. So I have been working with women just like you, just like me, for the past, 1.5 years or so since I explanted, just focusing on helping you ladies restore your health after explant and addressing all those things that Diane just mentioned, the tits. And then Diane and I have just joined up to collaborate together and bring you just, the most comprehensive approach to healing that we've ever seen out there. So we're really excited to, start talking more about that with you and, help in any way we can with just little, tips here in the Facebook group for you, addressing myths, or busting myths.
Busting myths.
Yeah. Talking about all things breast implant illness. So
yes,
you'll be seeing a little bit more of our faces here in the group together as we kind of just go along figuring out what it is that you guys need help with the most.
Yes, and TITS, so you guys know what it stands for, is toxicity, infection, trauma, and shame. So many of us are going through this process thinking that, okay, if I explant, if I remove the breast implants, then everything's going to get better. And that could not be farther from the truth. And that the body, is already detoxing and, it's just going to take care of itself. And sure, it can, but a lot of women, as you're experiencing in this group, are saying things like, I heard, and this is a big myth, that you just need to remove them and then the body just goes through these detoxing phases, and just to let nature run its course. But for so many of us for so long, including myself, the breast implants have been inside of us for so long. Plastic and silicone and all these heavy metals and adjuncts inside of the implants have been living in us for so long that the immune system is completely worn out. Our body's ability to produce stress hormones like cortisol to help give us energy, vitality, and to cope with life and just to handle life and get through our day is completely inhibited and our cortisol production is super low, and our body's been prioritizing trying to clear these toxic bads from body for so long that it's like, I can't make cortisol anymore. I can't create immune system protection anymore, defenses. I've been doing it for so long. So we need to absolutely give the body a bit of a reboot. And I'm speaking from from experience, because I just had my breast implants removed 2 weeks ago, and I am back to normal already. And people are like, how the heck did you do that? And it's all the stuff that we're sharing here. You know, I was back to work in a week, being interviewed on some of the, more popular radio shows out there. You guys may have heard of Wellness Mama, so that'll launch soon. So it's just been an honor to serve in this tribe, in this space, because what we don't want to see anymore is a lot of you who have heard the myths out there that, yeah, you just get the implants out and everything, goes back to normal, because it absolutely doesn't. Our body is under so much destruction from so many other places. It's not just the implants, it's our diets, it's how we think about life, who we think we're supposed to, that's the shame element of the S in tits. And the trauma from our childhood. There's so many things to address, so what we want to talk about in here is to give you permission and to give you a safe container and a beautiful tribe to just break down and let it be okay that, like, we're all going through shit together. We're all going through this stuff together. And I wanted to celebrate Teresa. Teresa said that she had 24 textured saline implants and explanted 8 months ago. 24 textured saline implants.
I'm confused by that.
Did you have 24 boob jobs? 24 textured. I don't know. Is that like a code for the kind of implants you had? But yay that you explanted, Teresa. Yeah. That's awesome. We're curious, how are you feeling, and what things are you doing now to help you cleanse your body, heal your hormones, and ignite your life? What things are you doing to assist your body? What things have you done since 8 months ago when you explanted? And then Suzanne says, having consult tomorrow for explant. Yippee, Suzanne! Good for you, sister. We're cheering you on along that. And once you decide on your date, then if whatever you'd like support with, how to prepare for this explant, we're helping women to prepare for it, because this is a big trauma wound that your body experiences when you go under the knife. It's a 7-hour procedure. Your whole body shifts, depending on if you do fat transfer or not. But there are absolutely ways that you can prepare your body for it, so that on the other side, there's not as much work to do. And so there's a lot of myths we're going to talk about today. 24-year-old. 24-year-old. Whoa, girlfriend. Okay, so Teresa, exactly what I was talking about here is that the longer these breast implants have been in, the more destruction that they will have caused to a woman's body. So I'm going to start with this, and we'll move into the first question. Let Sarah take it away. Is that when I went in for my second post-op consult, and I'm an FDN like Sarah, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I'm a former competitive bodybuilder. I'm a former professional soccer player. I am also a former professional fitness trainer, professional yoga teacher. I've done all kinds of things. So I kind of have a little bit of everything under my umbrella of wellness. And I'm also now a holistic healing coach, which is really to help women to explore what emotional blocks that we have, and what kinds of trauma wounds that we have in our past that hold us back. And a lot of this is like anger, sadness, grief, guilt, shame. So a lot of these emotions, they're everywhere. And it's not just women, it's not just the implants, it's working through a lot of these emotions too. So, so yeah, what we're seeing with women who've had breast implants for a long, long time is that there's a lot more destruction. It's very difficult to even to feel emotionally revitalized when you remove these things, because there's a lot going on in the brain too, inflammation, infection. And so we'll talk about that today. So awesome. Okay, let's get into the questions. So Sarah, question number 1, what is a good heavy metals test to order?
So I feel like I see this question a lot, which is why we're addressing it today. It's posted a lot here in the group. There's a few different options. There's, of course, people a lot of the time will do blood testing with their doctors, which is not going to be accurate, because blood is a transportation fluid. It's not a storage fluid. You're not going to see what's stored in the body's tissues in a blood test. So blood tests can be great if you have an acute exposure to something that was, that same day. if you want to see chronic exposure, you're going to have to look at a different kind of test. So then there's the heavy, let's see, HTMA, which is hair tissue mineral analysis, which can be helpful for balancing minerals, but as far as seeing what kind of toxicity is in the body, it's not going to be beneficial because, it really does rely on your body's ability to release these heavy metals and toxins into the hair. And a lot of us are so toxic that we're not detoxing, we're just storing everything. And so, genetics plays a factor in that test, in what you see in that test as well. So if you have, different genetic SNPs for detoxing, the big one is MTHFR, but there's many, many different genetic markers. So if those genes are turned on, you may not see what you're looking for. And I've had people come to me and show me their hair tissue mineral analysis, and it looks like they have no heavy metals at all. And we all have heavy metals in our bodies. We are all exposed, not just from breast implants, but all kinds of sources. So just because you see nothing on a hair tissue mineral analysis does not mean that you are clear. Yeah.
I say that, labs are only as good as the practitioner who knows how to interpret them.
True.
And who also, not just one lab. Sarah and I are not in the business of running labs. I think that's a huge disservice to you ladies out there, because we have to look at the whole thing. Like what are the things that are driving the results on the labs, and if there's an HTMA done to look for metals, but also no hormonal lab concurrent to that, an accurate hormonal lab that looks at the hormones your body's creating, how your body's utilizing them, how your body's clearing them, and the patterns within them, the neurotransmitters, the genetic SNPs that may or not be active or affecting hormone production and utilization and clearance, then we're also just doing your body a disservice, because if you have poor hormonal balance, then that's going to possibly show up in the HTMA as a really sluggish metabolic constituency. And so that's what drives metabolism, is your hormones. So if your metabolism is screwed up, which pretty much everybody that I've seen with breast implant illness it's pretty much every woman. Yeah, mine was too. I'm like flatline. I got like no minerals. I got no metals that showed up, which could look like, oh great, we just need to do some mineral balancing. But that's not the case at all. Like, hormones are made from minerals. So sure, we need to know that. But we also need to look at the picture of what your body's doing with hormones. And are you estrogen dominant? Like BPA, plastic is what our boobs are made of. And plastic is an endocrine disruptor. It drives up estrogen in the body with most women. In that case, you're going to have xenoestrogens through the roof, estrogen dominance, progesterone deficiency, all kinds of hormonal problems. But that's not going to show up on an HTMA most likely. So when we look at this whole big picture of heavy metals next to and alongside of hormones, as well as your gut, now we've got the full picture. So Sarah, let's have you take it away too, because I know you wanted to talk about the urine metal collection test as well, which is not always good just run by itself.
Right. Yeah. So, there's other tests out there too, but the most common ones are going to be HTMA and blood. The one that I like is actually a urine test, and we're able to bypass genetics completely with that test when we use an oral chelator called DMSA. Now, this is not available in the US without a prescription. So, this is something we have workarounds for. But, done this way, we can chelate those metals out of the tissues so that they can then be processed by the kidneys and dumped into the urine, and we can see them on that test. So, this is really the only test that I've seen that will really allow us to see what's stored in the tissues rather than, what you're acutely exposed to or what you're able to release, due to genetics or how toxic you are. So that's the test that I like. It's not really something I like to use in isolation. And most of the time when I have a conversation with women and I explain why this test is not useful by itself, they opt not to even bother doing it. Because it really, we know we're toxic. We know we are. Even if we didn't have breast implants, we're living in today's day and age with everything we're exposed to, all of the different things in our food and in our water and in our personal care products and in the air we're breathing and in vaccines and whatever else, I don't know. Um, we're going to be toxic. And so everyone living today, regardless of implants, should be detox. Something that most people should. Oh, I think I lost Diane. Hopefully she'll pop back on. Um, add. Add. Hopefully that works. It is not something that I like to test all by itself.
I got one of those scam likely calls.
Oh, okay. So I was saying it's not something I really like to do all by itself, just because there are more pieces to the puzzle typically. And so even when I'm working with someone on detox, often it will lead to other work because there is more work to be done.
Yeah. There's so much work, you guys. And the kind of women that we work with is the kind of work that we do is not for everybody. If you're just looking for a pill to get better, or if you're just looking to run some labs, that's not the kind of woman that we're working with. The kind of woman that we're working with understands that, and that the whole body operates as a whole. And maybe you haven't been taught that, but it's not your fault. We have been so conditioned that you go to your doctor, you run some labs, you get a pill. And if that's what you believe, then that's the end of the road, for your healing, is that the doctor is the God. You don't know anything as the patient. You need to just trust the doctor and the pills they prescribe. And that's the dead end road for many of us. And that's why so many of us are feeling dead end, because we've trusted, the institution for that kind of thing. So the absolute best healing that we've seen in women that we've supported, including ourselves, is when we can see the entire picture. We know where, of all the things that we see and all the pieces of information that we collect, because we're so many data points. We're looking at mind, body, spirit, heart, and what you're doing and how you're feeling each one of those on a regular basis. Because one thing that is very much lacking in the breast implant illness community is like the mindset that drove us to get implants to begin with, which is creating a lot of, it's addiction hopping. So it's like a lot of body dysmorphia where we still don't believe that we're beautiful as we are. So we go from, removing the breast implants and then going to fat transfer and then doing 5 more fat transfers and more injections and more fillers. And we're just still on the same train of destroying the terrain with chemicals, or even if it's moving, like Mr. Potato Head, where you move this over here and move this over here. Sure, of course, fat transfer is beautiful, but then there's this deep, deep shame of not feeling enough. And the anger and resentment we have at whoever created that belief inside of us, that will still keep the path moving forward, and we lose time, money, and energy to this whole belief system and the way that our culture has shaped us. So there's so many pieces to consider here. Hi, Christina. Good to see you, sister. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Yeah, yay. So yeah, I mean, there's other measures that we use in addition to just the heavy metal testing to see like what are the symptoms, because like you could have a lab that shows that you have no metals, but you have all kinds of symptoms of heavy metal toxicity. So we have to, and how Sarah and I have been trained is to also consider, patient symptoms and how you guys are feeling. We have to look at your symptoms as well as the labs. And sometimes if we see in the labs, they look, perfectly normal. And you guys know the deal. The doctor's like, oh yeah, everything looks fine. Get out of here. Your labs are normal. Da 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 da. And you're like, but I'm going to kill you. You're not listening to me. I don't feel normal. Why? So we believe you, because we've been where you've been, that just because it doesn't not show up in a lab test does not mean that you don't have symptoms or an underlying factor that's driving the symptoms. And allopathic doctors are trained today to look at blood, and it's just still, it's such a disservice to all of us, because we got to look at, like, they're just looking at the top of the iceberg above the water. We're looking at all this stuff underneath the water that is creating the problems on the surface, which are the symptoms. So there's so much to this. There's lots of heavy metal testings out there. And if you're just getting treated for heavy metals, but not considering your hormones and your gut, which is, and then the emotions, the mindset, then we're really just spot treating. And spot treating is a Band-Aid, and there's a dead end road to that. And we're not holistically approaching your whole body, because you are one big whole unit. So it would be like playing favorites if you had like 11 kids and you only gave one kid attention. The other 10 are gonna be like, wait, what up? wait, what about us?
I would also even go as far as to say the opposite is also true with lab work, with blood work, in the sense that just because something shows up on your blood work doesn't mean it's a problem for you right now. Like I'm specifically, talking about like viruses. We've all been, like, I think like 95% of the population's been exposed to Epstein-Barr.
I think it was 98, something like that.
Probably.
Yeah, crazy.
But like everyone thinks, or, there's a lot of talk, probably because of certain influencers out there on social media, that like Epstein-Barr is the cause of all illness, And just because you see it on blood, yeah, just because you see it on a blood test doesn't mean it's a problem at that moment in time. Your immune system is really what needs to be looked into, and to determine really if it's able to keep up with keeping those things at bay.
Yeah, Christina. Can't say names.
Yeah,
this is the problem. When you guys start hearing one-hit wonders that CBD fixes everything, that celery juice fixes everything, that alkaline water fixes everything, there is, sorry to say this, but for those of you who really get this stuff, there is no one-hit wonder, one Band-Aid, one pill that will fix all of your ills. Of course, marketing would have you believe something totally opposite, but the conscious consumer, which is hopefully those of you who are listening and understanding how Sarah and I approach healing, is that those things, those Band-Aids are going to cost you a ton of money.
Yeah.
And you're going to get pissed off because you're going to buy into something over here and you're going to do all the things. And you're like, I tried this, I tried that, I tried that, I tried that. And I'm still like not where I want to be. This is what we want to try to prevent for you guys, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of people out there who care a lot about profits and getting you on their team and having you buy stuff and whatever. But we don't care if you're on our team or not. We just want you to feel better,
Yeah, right.
So it's a holistic approach, and there's so many pieces to this. I'm not saying that CBD and celery juice and alkaline water are not great. I'm just saying that it's a huge myth that any one of those things can make you bring you back to whole. That's yeah.
What's interesting is, okay, I'm gonna reveal a guilty pleasure.
A banana? This is a banana. Oh, here we go. Which
reveal a
one,
guilty
Sarah?
pleasure here.
Christina, you're so cute. Yes, truth bombs going off. And celery juice will not cure BII.
Right. And so that's what made me think of this, because last night I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, God.
I know.
I gotta go.
I'm sorry. It's just such good drama. Anyway. Okay, so
Sarah?
the reason I brought this up.
Fine, talk.
The reason I brought this up is because she had the medical medium on the show. And she was talking about psoriasis. I know, Christina. She was talking about her psoriasis and how like bad it was, and she was like showing about all the different areas of her skin. She had this horrible psoriasis, and how she's tried everything, and it was just basically like all these Band-Aid approaches, right? And she's got breast implants.
And butt implants.
Right.
And there's removed ribs.
Nobody's boobs look that perfect after 3 or however many kids she's had without implants. So interesting. But yeah, she had a medical medium on there. Basically, he did a lot of this to her and told her she needed celery juice. And she tried it, and she saw it, and they were talking about it on the show. And, someone asked her, did it work? And she was like, no. It was just so weird. I told my husband, I was like, I bet you he's going to recommend celery juice.
No way. Okay. So now I'm happy that you watched it for that reason. I'm totally curious how that looked. And I'm totally curious too, ladies, of the agenda. There's always an agenda to what you see on TV, magazines, programming. Hey, did you guys see that program? They're programming your mind to want something. Kim Kardashian is the perfect example of that. I get triggered by it because I've been seeing like the shifts in her body, and it's like ribs are being removed.
Yeah.
The butt is so far out that like all kinds of women are wanting the butt implants now, or even, fat transfer, and I'm just going to put it in the butt over there. I'm going to get injectables. Yeah. So we are all, in what I've found in surveying so many men through this journey, men are like, dude, what are you guys doing to your bodies? We don't want this shit. This does not matter to us. And if it's a guy that you're with that it does matter to, I mean, to each their own, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
But there is an end to this artificial intelligence, and it's we're coming to a head on it. We are potentially 20, 30 years away from the sixth mass extinction. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but because of the way that we're living and how disconnected we are to our hearts and nature and earth and what really matters, if our focus is so heavily on body image and altering our body, and we're distracted from connection to others in our heart, what's if we're not even going to be here in 20, 30 years anyway, what's the point? And I'm not trying to sound apocalyptic, but look it up. I mean, this is a well-known thing. We have so many toxins in our planet and our inner bodies that if we can't just slow down and surrender and self-love the body that we've been given, what we are not living the life that we chose before we came down here. So I say don't take your don't remove your silicone implants or saline implants until they taught you the lesson that you got them for, which in my case, in many women's cases, is self-love, you know, really
Absolutely.
what your body's all about. It's like, love your temple. Sure, I got fat transfer. Sure. I'm doing stuff for my face to, you know, repair some of my sun damage from being out in the sun a lot. There are healthy ways to do that that don't need to be Botox injections and artificial fillers, because there's now Facebook groups emerging that, you know, one of the girls that's going through our Chi protocol with the TITS method inside of it, she just brought this to our attention today. There's a Botox Facebook group that's revealing the truth on how it's harming so many women. And that was another question for today is, what do you guys think about Botox and fillers, injections and gel, you know, for your nails? Sure. These are all fun things, ladies. Like, let's do it. Let's have fun. But there are too many non-toxic alternatives to that. Like, you can do PRP. You can do Theralift for your face. You can do vampire facials.
Teresa just asked about stem cells too.
Oh yeah, sure. Stem cells. I mean, I don't know if you heard this one, Sarah. This is some scary shit. The FDA is now claiming, and this is going to start happening soon, that your own stem cells are their product, are their medicine.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So you guys, this stuff is going to start changing very rapidly. So just know who you can trust, and know that a lot of the stuff you hear out there, know where you guys can go with questions so we can answer like the truths. And I'm not saying that everything that Sarah and I talk about are absolute truths, but we certainly have done a tremendous amount of research and training, and of course have been the experience for you guys. So there's lots of alternatives to these looking younger treatments that you just don't need to go the toxic route. And haven't we learned our lesson once, you know, putting these things inside of us? Haven't we learned it once? And so that's the root of the tits part, is the trauma and the shame. Like, what's behind all of this? Are you feeling like you need to look perfect, or who are you keeping up with? You know, Kim Kardashian, what's it all for? You know, what's all of this for? So yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So let's move on to the next question. You guys are asking great questions live too. We appreciate that. Okay. So here's one of them. I know question. I'm 3 months out post-explant with full capsulectomy. Last month I was feeling amazing. I've seen so many improvements, and I've even been working out again. The last few days my fatigue has come back with a vengeance. I took a 3-hour nap and I haven't done that in weeks. I'm weak-ish after my cycle, so it's not PMS. Anyone who is further out in their healing experience this stuff honestly hits in depression with these last few days, because it almost feels like I did before I had my explant. So I believe what she's asking here, and what a lot of you had commented on, is that she was just going through detox reactions. It was just like, oh, your body's just detoxing. So Sarah, can we talk a little bit more about that and clarify what could be going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, I've thought about this a lot, because I hear this often about people feeling really great sometimes after surgery, and then a few weeks later just totally crashing. And so, you know, my thought about it is that if someone's going through a really stressful, traumatic surgery like explant, that's a very, very big stressor on the body, and you're going to have like a big surge of cortisol. So for me, that makes me think that that's a possible factor in how people are feeling post-explant, because cortisol, when it's needed, can make you feel much better. It's
Powerful anti-inflammatory.
a
Yeah.
powerful anti-inflammatory, yeah. And that
An
starts to
energy maker, energy
yeah,
producer.
exactly. And that starts to taper off, as you recover from surgery itself. And then it's almost like it's just been masking your symptoms for a while. So that's kind of my theory. I don't have any hard evidence for that.
Right, right.
We haven't done any studies to show that, but that's kind of my theory personally. But also, things that we need to remember are that, our body's just been through, like I said, a very traumatic event, taking out these implants, and, it's added stress if we're doing fat grafting as well. And to just know that, everything you experience after surgery is not a detox reaction. There are things that need to be worked on, and this is oftentimes your body's alarm signal sounding like, hey, listen up. I still have some things, yes, you got these implants out. Awesome. But I still have these other things over here, that need to be worked on. And so, that's what Diane and I are doing is helping people figure out and see, what other things still need to be worked out in order for the body to start to get back to wanting to heal. Because I think the body does have an innate desire, innate intelligence to want to heal and get back to homeostasis, but you have to give it what it needs. You have to have enough good nutrition. You have to start addressing other internal and external stressors in your life that are contributing to the load that your body's dealing with, that overflowing of your toxic bucket. It doesn't have to be just chemical toxins. It can be mental, emotional thoughts. Those are toxic as well.
Gut bugs,
Gut bugs.
mycotoxins.
Yeah, it all contributes to that toxic bucket overflowing. And so while you may have taken the implants out, you haven't addressed all those other things. So you can't expect miracles. There are rare occasions where people just, feel fantastic and they don't have these backslides. And I don't really know how to explain that, other than maybe that the breast implants were the tipping point for them and removing them was enough. Do I think that they don't need to do any other work? No, I think they still do, because it's only a matter of time before that bucket fills up again, because, symptoms are the last thing to occur when the body is breaking down, when that toxic bucket is filling up. That's the last thing that you're going to see happen. The body's been breaking down for a long, long time before you develop symptoms. So that just goes to show that, it isn't just about the implants, and it's not just about explanting, that there is more work. There's deeper work that needs to happen.
There's a lot of work. There's, so many people are still consuming a ton of sugar and alcohol and coffee and gluten and GMOs, and our water is just, there's only one person regulating our entire nation's drinking water supply. One person. Why is that relevant? It's because that now, if you actually, this is the work that Sarah and I do, if we pulled your jurisdiction of water and where you live, the city municipality water report would reveal to us, how hard your water is. If you have hard water, there's going to be a lot of calcium deposits. And, doesn't that sound good? It's like to help me prevent osteoporosis and have like strong hair and bones. And no, because it's the toxic calcium. And when you're exposed to a lot of that high calcification in the body, that slows down your metabolism, which affects your metabolic rate and your detoxification potential. So we see all these hard water places. Orange County, LA is like the hardest water of all of United States. And then we see a lot of fluoride in the water, which affects your pineal gland, your intuition, your mind. You start having brain fog. They cannot, with a lot of bottled water companies, which is essentially a third of them are just tap water, unfiltered tap water. And inside of this, we've got benzodiazepines, we've got birth control. These are things that are too small molecularly that cannot be filtered out by standard, let's just throw a bunch of chlorine on this water and call it tap water. So it's water. It's the air that we breathe. It's the stuff we apply on our faces. it's the bugs that we touch on our animals, of course, like, oh, I let my dog kiss me or lick me or sleep with me. But if we have such a poor immune system,
Yeah.
then now we're exposed to those bugs. And then, it's the stuff that we're shampooing our hair, and there's EMFs, radiation people don't consider, to touching our computers, touching our phones, and all of these things. There's so much that people are like, wait, what are you talking about, Diane? I'm like, well, every person's different, right? So the question here Suzanne asks is, how do we learn what you did pre and post explant to detox? And here's the answer to that, Suzanne. It is, every woman's journey is totally different. So what Sarah and myself did pre and post explant is not going to be the same that we recommend to each woman. It really depends on a number of factors. So if you haven't yet detox or haven't yet explanted, it's really cool for us to be able to do some labs. There's a couple that we use that are really great to start foundational labs and give us an idea of the ground floor of where you're at, so that we can start preparing you for explant. And then once you're done with explant, then we can support you on the detox after that. How much do you need certain kinds of therapies to recover from breast implant illness post explant? What does it look like with some women that we're working with now in the program also have like really high levels of allergies and allergenic reactions to certain foods, and they can only eat like 5 foods. So they've got a lot of allergies going on in the gut. And working with women there, so you guys don't feel like, gosh, I'm so limited at what I can do. So there's a comfort and there's a way to prepare you for that too, that surgery, so that you go into it and your body's more ready for it. And then after the surgery, the recovery doesn't take like 1, 10, 15 years. It could be like the matter of weeks that you get better. Like I was better. I'm 2 weeks out and I'm like, let's game on. Can I go work out now? So what we do, my protocol is going to be different than yours. And that's why we look at labs, to really see what's going on under your hood and customize everything to you. And then also looking at what you got going on emotionally, what kind of people in your life supporting you. I mean, there's so much to this. And then Cynthia asked a question, how would you recommend testing for heavy metals and minerals missing in our bodies? And do you think that's helpful? Yeah, Cynthia. So what I would do, sister, we talked about that. It was one of the first questions, probably about 10 minutes into this. If you want to rewind and listen to that later on, we addressed the heavy metals and the minerals, but still just doing that one single test, you're going to miss the mark every single time. If you're just looking at heavy metals and minerals, and there's a lot of, misinformation out there that it just does one lab and then you're done. That could be a cool way to feel a little bit better, but it's just missing so many other pieces to it. So yeah. Cool. I think we nailed that one. Then we went deep into that one. Okay. So now this one, yeah, I think this is kind of what we already went over. She says, I explanted on May 24th and overall feel better. I've been told I look healthier as well. Yay. And we believe you. Like, gosh, my before and after, I was like, I'm a different person. And you guys, I don't know if I shared this with you yet, that I did fat transfer. My body went from 19% to 15% body fat in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So fat transfer does help with that, but also I think the body thinks that the implants might be a little bit of fat too. Who knows what the scales think. And then there's false fat, which is that your body has all these chemicals and it needs to be stored in fat. So when the chemicals start to let go, you don't need, your fat cells won't be as big either. So your body fat goes down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so she says, I believe detox is really starting to kick in. My chin is breaking out and I'm so sweaty. The hot flashes are crazy. I feel quite overwhelmed by the process of actively detoxing and all of the supplements that are out there. I simply don't know where to start. Sarah, take that one away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what she is and isn't taking, but I would say if she's just letting her body do its thing, her detox pathways are shut down. They're not working well, because you shouldn't see a lot of, things coming out in the skin and hot flashes and things like that. I mean, sweating can be good. Like your body is trying to release some things, but if you're getting a lot of additional symptoms, like that's an indication that your detox pathways are not well supported or not working properly. And so we really need to be supporting the liver and the kidneys and the gut microbiome and the lymph and supporting energy production and methylation and glutathione production, all those things that contribute to your body's detox work, and all those big detox organs that need support, especially when they're overwhelmed as much as they are today. So, just I would say if you're not really doing a whole lot, you're probably not detoxing well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are, yes, she's right. There are a lot of supplements out there that claim to be detox supplements. And I don't know, as a practitioner, as someone who's been through this, as someone who's helped a lot of people through this, I feel like there's really only, I mean, maybe I'm a bit biased. Everyone's a bit biased, right, to their own approach. But I feel like there's really only one great approach. And that's why we implement Dr. Pompo's program within our own program, is because it does touch all of those areas that need to be addressed in order for true proper detoxification to occur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's really important that you do your research. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into, because certain things that people do after explant, or not even maybe not even explant, maybe they just want to detox and never had breast implants. Sometimes those people can end up much, much worse off if they're not doing the right things.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so, you know, a lot of things that I see online are really just things that are going to either give you a colon cleanse, or they're going to just move metals around the body.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So,
Celery juice, I think, is the best for everything, though. I've heard that was really good at
uh,
healing. I'm making fun of it, but
yeah.
celery. You guys, we're not saying that celery juice is not good, but like it could actually cause a lot of problems, because we've got women who have high FODMAP issues, and they
Yep.
and they have high histamine, and they can't eat. If you have no idea what that means, all of that means is that there's certain classifications of food that your body reacts poorly to, and that could actually spin you into something even far worse. And now we're dealing
Yeah.
with more issues. So
Mm-hmm.
there is no more, and this is the future of medicine, that it's your body is all biological, and
Mm-hmm.
every person's different. So for the blanket
Yeah.
statements to say everybody should do the same thing, that's where we all start getting into trouble, because there's so many pieces to consider here. And what I would say to that one woman's point is that it sounds like a lot of the reactions that you're having, hot flashes and anxiety, and there was one other one, skin issues, could be because of
Hormonal.
likely, estrogen dominance, and of course, plastic is xenoestrogen, drives up estrogen in the body, drives down progesterone, and then we wonder why our skin ages so fast, because
Mm.
progesterone is like the anti-aging
Yeah.
hormone. And it's not just about, going to a functional medicine doctor. They're going to look at your labs and go, oh, your progesterone's low, let's give them some bioidentical, progesterone. But if your kidney and liver pathways are so backed up that they can't even utilize it properly, now we got a whole other problem. So this is where I would also consider, like, the kind of testing that we look at is we look at the pathway of, it's called CYP, which is to see how your body's doing at clearing estrogen, and how your body is actually just doing at utilizing hormones to begin with. So it's not just like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, take this hormone, you're low on it. It's not that straightforward. It's really complicated. And to master this art is what I believe that, like, when Sarah and I came together, we're like, oh my God, we've got this beautiful approach. And I think women everywhere are going to benefit from it. If they decide that, this is something I just want to, like, I don't want to do all this work on my own. I don't want to go through the dizziness. And it's just like, here, just tell me what to do and just follow it. And here's the roadmap that's customized to you. And the question that Suzanne just said, I'm taking the FMCA course for being a health and wellness coach. Oh, great. And I have a functional medicine doc I'm working with. I've had several labs done already. And I think you trailed off there. You said interested in, I don't know what that means, but what we see a lot, and this is no knock to functional medicine doctors, but here's the model. What you have to work with functional medicine doctors is a one transactional, one session at a time, and they look at labs most of the time. I'm not saying all of them. They look at labs and they fill in the labs with what, like, supplements or foods or whatever. But there's not a lot of energetic discussion. There's not a lot of meditation and lifestyle discussion. If you work with one functional medicine doctor and ran the amount of sessions that you would have to have with them, you would pay $500 for an hour multiplied by, I don't know, probably 30 times to get the same amount of information that we condense down the way that we deliver it. So that's why Sarah and I are in practice, because we tried to go to functional medicine doctors and say, like, hey, I would like this, and I would like that. And then you get nickel and dime. Before you know it, you're like, I've got 12 supplements and I've run 6 labs and I'm still not feeling better. But, like, why? It's because the trauma and the shame is still up here. So it's like, imagine there's a place where you could do, therapy, trauma therapy, emotional freedom techniques, mindset, forgiveness, releasing shame, understanding anger, sitting with your inner child, and, like, being able to be present with why you feel and think and act the way that you do. This is 95% of
Yeah.
it's all back here in our subconscious. So really working with, why do I do what I do? Why do I do that? Why do I say that? Why can't I calm my inner bitch? Why does she act out? Why? My roommate's over there. He's like laughing at me. Why am I so passive aggressive? Why am I just like my mom? But I'm not like my mom at all. So, there's so much more to it than labs, you guys. So it's great that you do. Yeah. And Suzanne says it's very expensive. So typically, Suzanne, most people who have worked with functional medicine doctors before, we start working with the whole thing, and save women tens of thousands of dollars of not repeating the same stuff over and over and not getting anywhere, they've already spent tens of thousands of dollars. When you consider the supplements, you consider the therapy, you can, like, if you do like shrink therapy or whatever, psychology therapy, the labs, the scans, there's so many different techniques today. But really it's like having a place that can say, there's like 1,000 ways to do this, but your way is this one way right here. And that girl over there, no, she's going to have a different way, but you do this. This is your prio number one right now. We start here with you, then we move over here, move over here. So there are certain things that every woman does well with that we've seen in the BII community, but then there's so much stuff that's deeper than that, and that's where we address it as a tribe, and it just gets fun that way when you see that other women are just like you and you're not in this alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, Sarah. Hey, Diane, what's the best thing aside from clean eating to do for detox? I can't afford to do all the things you've done, which I don't know what you mean there. I don't know where you came up with the number because I never shared how much it costs to all the things I've done, but maybe that's an assumption. I don't know. So if you could choose one, what would it be? Lymph massage, glutathione injections, oxygen water thing. I think she means ozone therapy, sauna, question mark. So she's asking, like, what's the one thing I can do? What would you say to that, Sarah?
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah. I'll take
That's
it.
a tough one. That's a tough one to answer.
It is. And it's like, I don't like to answer questions in the fashion that I don't believe in. And so it's difficult because I would be lying to you. I would be doing a disservice to you if I said, oh yeah, just do, some sauna detox and lymphatic drainage. Of course, you got to move your lymph through this whole thing. But my rebuttal to that always is, why is your health not worth more to you to invest to bring you back to life and better? And what I also consider to that is, if you're not living your breast life, then there's something hugely at stake here. There's a major opportunity cost for you not bringing yourself back to life. And that is that, what is your soul's journey and what are you here to do? Like, what's the mission that you believe that you came here to serve? And so if let's just say mathematically, because I was a financial planner for 8 years and I worked with people's budgets all the time and I saw how much they invested in stuff, crap, junk. So if you really looked at your budget, you can see, like, how am I spending on what and where? And that's what we do in our program, is look at time, money, energy. Where are you spending or wasting? How can we cleanse those pieces and redirect and reinvest? So let's say you're living at 30% of your potential now, which is statistically been proven that most of us are. If you could just move the needle to maybe 10% more by doing one thing, sure, you're better off. But if there was a whole system where you can get from 30 to 80% in weeks, why wouldn't you? It just learned at one time, and you can crank that dial, and within 2 months, 3 months, you're a completely different person. You're at 70%. Now in 2 more months, you're at 80%. Now in 2 more months, you're at 90%. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, how did I get here? I'm even better than before. And now you have the routine down, but now you're like, I can do 10 times more with my life.
Yeah.
What is that worth to you? So when I hear people limit their potential and limit I go, I'm right there. And so that's my answer to that. Even though I'd say, yeah, my favorite thing is, my favorite thing is hyperbaric. That's not cheap. Sauna, sure, cool. But they're all still just one thing, but there is no one thing. So I don't even want to answer that question that way. Anything to add on that, Sarah?
Yeah, I don't think there is just one thing either. I think the one thing that you can do for free is pray, honestly, that, getting your health back costs money.
Yeah.
It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come easy, and it takes work. It's not going to be one little thing. It's not glutathione infusions just to address that. I don't like that because it'll spike your glutathione levels for like 4 hours and then it's back down again. So that's a big
Right.
investment for such a short amount of time of benefit. And then, you're getting good detox for like a few hours and then you're back down. So
Yep.
it's not the best way to go about
Short-lived.
that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
short-lived. So, but I've always said to my husband, like if it came down to it and you or I, if I ever got sick again or if you got sick, which I'm not anticipating based on the way we live now, but if it ever came down to it, I would sooner sell my house, sell my car, sell everything I own and invest that in myself to get myself back,
Yes.
and same
Yes,
for
yes,
him,
yes.
it's
Yes.
about putting your
Yes.
priorities where they should be.
Yes. Your body is your most valuable vehicle. And who cares what car, what house, whatever you have, when you can't even enjoy it if you're living at 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And I would double, triple, quadruple, 10x, 20x, 25x down on my health before I would invest on a vacation,
Yeah.
because you can't, again, you can't even enjoy it. We get calls like this all day long, women going, I can't even enjoy my vacation. I can't even go on a vacation without fearing that I'm going to flatline in the middle of the day. And then my husband's going to be pissed off at me because I can't leave the hotel. And like, you guys, don't let it get far worse off than it already is. I would add to that, the other free thing that you can do is you can talk to Amy, our breakthrough specialist.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, if you're like Teresa just said, yes, I want to crank the dial. I like that analogy, Teresa. It's the first time I
Yeah.
think I said that. I'm like, it feels nice, crank the dial. Let's turn it up. Let's get turned up. That's how I feel like when I got my implants out and I was like healing my body, and the process that we teach is like, dude, I can't believe how amazing I feel. And the doctors are like, how are you doing this? I'm like, well, I'm praying, sure. But like all these other cool things we're doing to cleanse, heal,
Yeah.
ignite, and sisters, Sarah and I, and our energy comes from our inner chi as well.
Mm-hmm.
We teach this TITS method inside of cleanse, heal, ignite. Cleanse your body, heal your hormones, ignite your life. And that's our program. That's our approach, is to look at all the things in your life that help you create your best life ever. And
Mm-hmm.
my purpose and our mission, we get to live this every day. We get to be here and serve you guys. And how beautiful it is that when we support you and we love on you, we get love back. And it's just so fulfilling. That's our inner chi. That is the life force energy. That's our purpose. It's our mission. And that's what gives us energy. But how can either me, Sarah, provide any kind of support to you guys if we're not our best self? So that's why our health is so important, because your health is at stake if we can't be here to serve you. So, Teresa, and anybody listening right now, that's like what we would encourage you to. We have a link, dianekaiser.com, which is my name, dianekaiser.com /tits. And it will take you to a whole page where it's just like, let's see if, the kind of conditions and symptoms that you're working with are the kind of thing that we can help you with. And then let's look at also like, what kind of a woman are you? Where are you at in your life? Because like Sarah, now we can't help everybody. This
Right.
is not for the woman who wants to just do celery juice. This is not for a woman who just wants to do one lab. This is not just for a woman who wants one pill. This is for a woman who realizes that there are multiple things at stake here and at play, and that has the open-mindedness that, the moment we say that we've done it all and we give up, the moment we say that we know it all, or that, my one doctor knows it all, or that one person knows it all, then we've closed the door to healing opportunities and other doors that will open.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, wow, like this whole approach, mind, body, spirit, and the whole thing, what are these women doing? And why does this program that Diane and Sarah have, why does this approach result in over 95% of women who go through it, their entire life shifts? And it's because we teach you not just about how to detox your body, but how to detox the stories that keep you imprisoned to suffering. And when we start helping you detox these stories, you experience a shift in perspective that is called a miracle. One shift, turning the dial this way, opens a door, a whole nother door, and you see the world differently. And you go, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And then another door opens. and another door opens. And before you know it, you realize that you are the creator and you're opening these doors by calling in your higher powers, whatever that is, God or higher source. So these shifts and perspectives are the things that will carry you through all of this shame, all of this past trauma. And it's a very, very, it's not an easy path. That's for sure. You have to be the kind of woman that really wants to walk through her shit, her shadows to find her shine. So Teresa and anybody listening, if you guys want to talk to Amy, she's fully equipped to walk you through like what's going on in your life. Like what is the problem? What are the main problems that you want to, that you think are the main issues? And then like, where do you want to go? Like, what do you want with your life? Like really want with your life, not just, I want to detox my body. That's not a real goal. That's what we've been taught that we need to do. I want the job of my dreams. I want my kid, then you can start really feeling permission to dream when you have energy again. And then like, can we help you, with the kind of woman that you are? Can we help you with those key factors? Do you want our help? Can we help you? And what kind of help are you looking for? And when are you looking for it? And if you're like, yesterday, then we can help. Probably.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to really get down to the nitty gritty and like get in tune with what's your why, Why do you want to restore your health? Why do you want to invest in your health? Why do you want to work on all these things, to get to a place where you can be yourself again? It's got to be big, because otherwise, if it's a short-sighted, reason, or if it's a cosmetic reason, or, if it's just, I want to lose weight and get in better shape, or if it's, I just want to detox, like Diane said, that's not a real reason. What are these things preventing you from doing that you wish you could do, that you want to do, that would be fulfilling in your life, that would make you feel like you're living your best life, like you are living vibrantly, Those are the driving forces.
Right. And for some women, we've been so toxic and so tired for so long that we have so much brain fog. It's like, I can't even think about my why. Like right now, my why is just to turn
Get up
on
out
my
of bed.
to turn my brain on so I could actually like think again. Right.
Yeah.
So, if you're the kind of woman that knows that behind all of these symptoms, you once upon a time were a driven woman, and now there's something holding you back, then that's when, we should talk. So, I really hope today, sisters, we help shine some light and some clarity around, there's just so many myths, and we don't want you to waste a lot of money and time and energy on these things that could be short-lived. And like, of course they can be helpful in a moment, but long term, if we don't address it all at the same time, it will just end up deterring you from thinking that there is hope, that you can heal fast. And it doesn't have to be, this long drawn out road. You can get better and heal from all of this in like 1 to 2 years. And we teach you exactly how to do that for each person. So it's not the same, and it's quite difficult. There's just not a lot of information out there that helps women do that. And what I'd say last is that most people, if you're here because you're like, I want to reduce my cholesterol numbers, I want to just get off my medication, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, like, we won't work with women like that. We'll say, okay, there's some other programs that you can do that you can work with on that. But most women, when they ask us for help, they're like, I'm done. I've tried everything. I've tried what feels like everything. I'm done beating myself against the wall and my accounts against the wall. I'm done having these arguments with my spouse, or not doing my best at work. I'm just done. And like, this is the last stop for them. And this becomes like, we teach you to be your own best doctor, healer, lover, best friend. And once you have that inside of you, that self-love, you're unstoppable, and you don't need to rely on so much out there because you have all the answers in here. So I think that's a good place to end. So that's dianekaiser.com/tits. That's how you guys can, see all that information there. And then you can set up a call with Amy to talk with her about, it's just a casual conversation. There's nothing that we're selling to you or anything. It's just a conversation of, can we help you? And it's a very lighthearted conversation with someone who understands this whole thing. And she just so happens she has a really cool accent. So
yeah, she does.
You'll love talking to Amy. She's great. And she's so funny. So yeah, it's just a casual conversation. And what if it can't hurt, just to see what's out there for you, and whether or not you've explanted or not, we can help any ladies. The only women we can't help is if you have not determined if you want to explant or not. This is for women who have said, I'm going to explant, or I already have explanted and now I need help. It's not for women who are like, should I explant? Yeah, so that's it. DianeCager.com/tits. And then we'll do this. Oh, I'll let you say it. We'll do this every first Tuesday of the month moving forward. Was that what you were going to say?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's going to be, first Tuesday every month, 3 p.m. PST. And if you have made it this far and you're watching the replay and you've made it this far, and if you still have any questions that you would like us to address in future Facebook lives, post them below in the comments when this gets posted, and we'll try to get to those, during in the future lives. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Yep. And then Sarah and I will be sharing, because we've been asked to be on a lot of people's radio shows and docuseries and stuff. So we will continue to share that in this group. Sometimes it takes hearing things 10 times before it really sinks in. And that's that miracle. That's that shift in perspective where you're like, oh my God, you know how you like tell people, and then you like tell your kids like 10 times, and then they see it somewhere else and like, Mom, such and such. You're like, I've been saying that 10 times. And then you didn't hear it from me, but you heard it from somewhere else. So just know it takes time to get this stuff. But the women who this is for, it's landing on your hearts and your heads, and you'll feel moved. Otherwise, this is going to be really helpful information. I really hope that you guys take some of it into consideration. And all the work that you're doing is every little baby step is one step closer to healing, but just don't do nothing. Please don't do nothing. If you're still like, oh, I'm going to keep experimenting. Cool. Do stuff, do the healthy things, but don't do nothing. Don't think that it's all or nothing. You can do some things, but we just don't know if that's going to be helping or hindering until, we see the underbelly of your body, the under the hood stuff, which is your labs and your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, emotional, environmental, all the things. So cool. All right, ladies, after this call, it'd be great, because we talked a lot about a lot of really powerful things today. So we're real big about retention. So after this, if you write down like any distinctions that you learned from this in the comments below, awesome. If you guys have any questions to counter this, let us know. We're here to help answer anything for you. And then also, if there's anybody in this group that you want to tag that should hear this, that are your sisters, then we'll go from here. And then also, if you hear other people asking questions that we addressed in here, you could always like tag them, and we might refer to this video, because some of the stuff is going to be repeat questions every week, right? So it'll be good to watch this multiple times. So I think that's it. We talked a lot about other things too, like candida, parasite cleanses, and all those things. Like, yeah, you could do all those things, but it's still not getting to the root of it either. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we're trying to minimize all that so that you don't have to, you don't hurt yourself even further. All right, cool. Awesome. Okay.
All right, ladies.
All right, sisters.
Until next time.
Bye for now. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.